Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Shad, and today I'm here to talk about a really exciting game from last night, and that ended up being the Bucks versus Celtics game, which was the first game in a 2-game slate. This was the official first regular season game of Dame and Giannis on the court together, and it lived up to the hype. I think as the game overall lived up to the hype. Damian Lillard definitely did. And there are a lot of things to talk about, so I'm not going to chat too much in the intro. Like, subscribe if you're new. So first off, I want to start off with some of the good Sixer things that I saw, because this video will be focused on Dame and the Bucks and how they played together, and specifically Dame and Giannis. First of all, Nick Nurse's defensive strategy remains the same against superstar bigs. It's send the wall, send the pressure, double them, triple them, whatever you do, just make sure the ball is not in their hands. And it ended up working. Giannis had 7 turnovers on the night and only 23 points with less than 50% from the field. So job was accomplished. And for those 7 turnovers, I wanted to see if Nick Nurse's strategies were the main reason why Giannis was getting those turnovers tonight. And I looked at all 7 of them, and here is the breakdown for each of them. He was tripled on the baseline, lost the ball for 1. He traveled twice. He dribbled off the body against Embiid when trying to drive. He did a forearm push against PJ Tucker, which was an offensive foul. He was heavily shaded in the paint one possession and got stripped. And he stepped out of bounds for his last one. Some other things, though. Jaden Springer had 2 blocks in his 4 minutes. He looked pretty good defensively. Kelly Oubre is looking to be a really good pickup, a really underrated pickup for a lot of people. Unsustainable shooting numbers from Kelly, of course, but impact-wise, I think it'll remain a couple notches below, but around the same. And I also love when I also loved when the Sixers played with pace, and specifically with Joel Embiid off the court, because we know early season Embiid is early season Embiid, and he's out of shape. He has no stamina. Like it was a struggle for Joel. But yeah, them pushing with pace, Maxey pushing the tempo with Melton on the wings, with Oubre, with Harris next to him, and with Paul Reed trailing him. I love that outcome and that setup a lot. Hopefully they just lean into that more, because I think it'd be really exciting and really effective for them, because it was in this game. Let's talk about the Dame and Giannis fit specifically, because I want to talk about these two in 3 different categories. This first one, of course, Dame and Giannis together on the court. The second one will be just Dame and how he played. And third will be the clutch time, because it was really important. It ended up being a 1-point game because of D'Anthony Melton's literal last-second 3-pointer. But yeah, it was a really important stretch of 5 to 6 minutes toward the end of that game, and there was a lot to talk about. First of all, the first bucket of the game was a Giannis and Dame pick and roll for 2 points. So there's that. It was very emblematic. Overall, I think they looked good on the court together. I didn't really have, again, game 1, don't take this analysis like too much to heart, like especially the negatives, because a lot of those things will be ironed out, but some of the good traits we saw from these two will be highlighted. And one of those good traits was the 3-level threat that these two posed with each other. And you saw it really early on. Dame was getting so many shots that were more open than he's probably ever had in his entire career. It's going to open up so many new avenues for him, so many more efficient shots for Dame to be able to contribute to this offense. And this isn't even talking about the on-ball thing, right? This is purely off-ball right now. When Giannis is driving down low, because Nick Nurse loves to send the help, loves to send the pressure, Damian Lillard, Malik Beasley, these guys found themselves open. And Brook Lopez, too. He ended up with 3 threes made. Like, these guys found themselves open, and Dame is going to be, as the season progresses, the biggest benefactor of Giannis' attention. When talking about high screen and roll with Giannis and Dame, it's like you have to send a hard hedge at Dame, because if you play drop, he's just going to torch you. And if you don't give the adequate amount of pressure on that action, it's just going to be a smooth, uninterrupted pick and roll pass to a Giannis that's now going downhill. It's a problem, and opponents will now have to have really, really good backline defenses in order to counteract this type of action. But the thing with Dame and why he is so valuable to this Bucks team specifically is because of his one-on-one ability. It is because his ability to be a shot creator from all levels, a space creator, I should say, from all levels, is going to be really important against teams that think they can just hone in on these two and send hard pressure to stop the momentum. I don't think it's going to work like that. But yeah, dude, the pick and roll actions, the PNR actions, the openness for both of them, like there were a couple possessions during this game where Giannis was in the paint getting guarded one-on-one. There were a few plays that he missed those shots, but they were there. And seeing that optic of Giannis being covered one-on-one is going to be a important thing to take note of for the rest of the year. Let's talk about Damian Lillard's first half, because in just 17 minutes, he scored 21 points. He had 5 rebounds. He had 3 assists. He made 2 threes, and he made all 9 of his free throws. It was certainly a first half, because the first quarter was he just had 6 points at the end of the first quarter, right? He scored 15 points in 4 minutes at some point in the second quarter. This first half, I think, and part of the second half, of course, when we got into the fourth quarter, but more this first half really exemplified the type of offensive staying power that Dame has, and his importance of being on this roster is that he opens up the window for these short bursts of offensive booms. You got a one-on-one creator. You can look to attack defenses in a different light. The one-on-one that the Bucks are used to is drives, is bulldozing drives to the paint. With Damian Lillard, you can take a step back, space out the defense, get them in motion. He allows for the team to take advantage when stars sit on the other team. And he facilitated that run in the second quarter without Giannis on the floor. And it makes me think about, when Giannis sits, the offense is going to be just fine. It's going to be just fine because Dame is used to this. Dame is used to having to carry an offensive load that requires him to score 40 points in a close game. He's used to having to carry less than impressive offensive players to a win. He's used to this. This situation, yes, Giannis had a bad game, but Giannis ain't going to have a bad game for 82 games. Dame will have someone else step up at other points in the season. This is just game 1. But the ability for him to take over with Giannis on the court and adjust to having another superstar on the floor makes me really happy, and it really makes me hopeful for Dame and this pairing moving forward. Now, let's talk about clutch time, because clutch time was important as hell. The last 7 minutes of the game, the Bucks scored 24 points. Dame and Giannis were responsible for 18 of them. In fact, they were responsible for the last 18 points. It speaks to the type of onslaught that is going to happen against certain teams that aren't well equipped to defend the Bucks. It's going to happen to them in clutch time, right? And it's going to be devastating having to deal with someone who finds his stride and starts hitting from 30 feet, and then having to switch to guard a bulldozer who just made a really good defensive play on the other end and is now running a break and coming at you full speed. Like, I tweeted out after the game, or during the game rather, like, clutch time is going to be really important and really nasty for the Bucks. Who the hell are you going to focus on? And obviously the easy answer is Damian Lillard because, more prolific scorer, he's more clutch, yada, yada. But Giannis is still there. And if Giannis doesn't have to take every offensive possession and try to make something happen, whether it is a positive or negative outcome, having Damian Lillard there to take the load off in clutch time opens up Giannis to be more effective, especially on the defensive side of the ball when it comes to these late game situations, but also as a deterrent and as a gravity machine on the offensive side. Letting Damian Lillard be able to play one-on-one basketball in clutch time is why Damian Lillard was brought here. The ability for both of their stars to now be able to play one-on-one in close games is why Damian Lillard was brought here. Now, I'd mentioned the last 5 minutes of the game and how Giannis and Dame had scored 18 of the team's 18 points. I took note of all of the buckets that happened after that point or within this frame. Giannis hook shot, Dame 3 off a Giannis assist, a Giannis layup, Damian Lillard 3 free throws, Damian Lillard and 1 with the made free throw, Damian Lillard 3-pointer, and Damian Lillard 2 more free throws. If Giannis now only has 2 or 3 shots in a clutch time situation and the Bucks still come out with a win, it's like Chris Middleton prime but boosted, because as we all know, like, Chris Middleton was the closer when he was fully healthy and when they were on their run. Chris Middleton was the closer, and he was a really damn good closer. You just got a boost. You just got an upgrade. It's scary, man. Giannis doesn't have to do it all anymore. And he was pretty damn effective at doing it all. But that's all I got, man. Look, it was a really, really exciting game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what these two have in stock for us during the season. So that'll be it for me today. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.